everyone and welcome back to the FPL Family YouTube channel. I'm Sam and today is a day earlier than usual, but with midweek football it is important to get these videos out as quickly as possible so you have as much time as you can to watch them. So it is Jammy Pick Monday this time around, and for those of you that have never watched a Jammy Pick video before, Jammy Picks are differential players who can help boost you up your mini leagues, help you gain positions in your overall rank because they are very, very lowly owned. So they are big differentials owned by under 5% of the game. Now in every video I'll go through 4 players who I think could be a good Jammy Pick for game week, in this case game week 14, but for the upcoming game week. And then at the end of the video, I will choose the one that I think will return the most points for his FPL owners this coming week. Now, to recap as always then on what happened last time around, we had 4 Jammy Picks last week. All 4 of them I thought would do well. One of them, unfortunately, didn't even get to pull on his boots and play because the Burnley Spurs game got called off because of the snow. So Lucas Moura was due to be one of my Jammy Pick options last week, but the game got called off. So if you did have him in your team, I hope that you had somebody decent on your bench to come in and replace him. I also had Matt Targett as a potential Jammy Pick option last week. I feel like I've been speaking about Matt Targett a lot over the last few days, but obviously got his goal, 8-point return for him, and maybe was a little bit unlucky not to keep that clean sheet too. So decent returns from him. Also had Josh King as a potential Jammy Pick last time around. Scored that penalty, registered 6 point, and also had 22 touches in the final third, which was tied third best for forwards in the game last time around. So decent options with Targett and King. Had Mane as my main Jammy Pick last week. He did get 3 points, but he could have and really should have had better returns than that, particularly when Liverpool were scoring 4 goals in that game against Southampton. So I was a little bit disappointed with the Mane pick, but hey, we move on and we can't get them all right every week. But Mane, Targett, King, fantastic. Lucas Moura, we'll take that as a win anyway because nothing you can do about the snow, is there? This time around then, let's have a little look at the 4 potential candidates for Jammy Picks in game week 14. Now here they are. Now I'm going to have to move over because otherwise Werner will be sitting on top of me. So Lucas Moura then, he makes it back into the Jammy Pick selections for this time around. Now that is for 2 reasons. First of all, I think Lucas Moura would have and should have been a good pick last time around. As I mentioned in the last video when I talked about him, he has been playing quite well. Obviously got 5 points in game week 12. So had a decent return there against Leeds with the assist for that goal. Has had regular good minutes under Conte since he's arrived. 70 and then 87 minutes. He has been doing well. I think Lucas Moura is a really nice differential. If you are trying to invest in Spurs because of the nice fixture run, but you don't really know how to do it, or you haven't got the budget for either Son or Kane, then Lucas Moura could be a really nice option, not just for this week, but also for beyond. So Lucas Moura, right up there then with my Jammy Pick options for this week. Next to him then we have Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson is going to cost you 7.4 million FPL pounds and he's owned at the moment by 3.2% of the game. Faces Norwich this time around. Has had 9 starts so far this season, and in those 9 starts has registered 4 goals for Newcastle. But his underlying stats actually look fairly decent. He has an XG of 3.52 and an XGI of 3.69. Decent underlying stats suggest that potentially he should have been and could have been scoring more than he has been. Has registered 46 penalty area touches from 21 goal involvements, 17 of those goal involvements inside the box and 10 of those with his head, and attempt every 36.7 minutes for Callum Wilson so far in the 21-22 season. Newcastle obviously having they're starting to show a little bit more grit and a little bit more determination. Obviously they got beaten by Arsenal at the weekend, but I did think that they were better, and obviously they will target the next couple of games as an opportunity for them to, try and keep their place in the Premier League, let's be honest, because the next 3 are the fixtures that they're going to be wanting to pick up points in. So Callum Wilson there as a potential Jammy Pick option too. Next to him, one of his opponents for game week 14, and this is a game that I think is very difficult to call because obviously Norwich are in good form with their new manager under Dean Smith's new manager bounce. Pookie is currently going to cost you 5.8 million FPL pounds. Now, he's slightly outside of the Jammy Pick remit, because when I wrote this video, he was at 5.1% owned. He's now 5.2% owned, and I wasn't going to split hairs over a 0.1, so I've kept him in, but he won't be my final Jammy Pick, just to make sure that I abide by my own rules. He was fourth for XG underachievers in game week 13 with 0.72, so could have and should have returned more than he did. 21 touches in the final third in game week 13, which was tied fourth best for forwards in the game in that game week. He also had 3 successful take-ons in game week 13, which was second best for forwards, and was getting a chance every 18 minutes. Now, Norwich were also 11th for chances created in game week 13. This is substantially higher than they have been at any other part of the season, so suggests that things are starting to look a little bit brighter for the Canaries down in Norwich. And Newcastle, who are their opposition for this week, conceded 24 chances in game week 13, which was tied first for the number of chances conceded across the division last time around. And then next to Pookie there we have Timo Werner. No, I haven't gone a little bit crazy, but it is Werner. So 8.6 million he is going to cost you, owned by just 1.4% of the game, faces Watford next. And I've picked this because obviously with the injury to Foster, I thought Bachmann had a particularly poor game against Leicester, will give away opportunities. Timo Werner received 12 passes in the final third in game week 13, which was 7th best amongst forward. And when you consider that was against a Manchester United team that basically set out to defend at all costs, that's reasonable returns for him. He had a chance every 13.7 minutes. And to top that up with, Chelsea had a chance, or they had 24 attempts in game week 13, which was tied most in the league. I think that bodes well for them. When you also then think about Watford, their opposition for game week 14, Watford were 6th for chances conceded in game week 13. They conceded a lot of opportunities. And Chelsea are particularly good going forward when you consider how well their wing-backs play, the amount of opportunities they create, and the fact that both Werner and Lukaku are coming back into that Chelsea team. That can only bode well for chances created for Chelsea and therefore potential for goals. And that is why Timo Werner is my jammy pick for game week 14. He's a little bit of a risk. He's not exactly cheap at 8.6 million. But if you are looking to invest in Chelsea ahead of this fixture against Watford, he might be a really nice option, owned by just 1.4% of the game. So Timo Werner is my jammy pick for game week 14. Let me know in the comments below who you think will be the jammy pick of game week 14. Who is going to be the differential that returns the most FPL points for their managers this time around. I will try and squeeze in another jammy pick video ahead of the game week 15 deadline on Saturday, and where we'll recap these players and have a look ahead to those jammy pick options. I'll also try and squeeze out a top points pick and a captaincy video ahead of game week 14 tomorrow. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you later on in the week. Thanks for watching, guys.